my phone. Fantastic. Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm going to do another recommendations video, and this one is one that was requested, and it is biography or a memoir. So a biography is a nonfiction book that is written about a person, and it is not written by that person. So for example, something that is written about someone in history, but it's not actually written by that person. And a memoir is a story about someone's life or a period of time in their life, and it is actually written by that person. So I have a few recommendations for both of these categories. The first one that I like to recommend is Decision Points, and this is written by George W. Bush, who was our former president. And this book is about a lot of the decisions that he had to make while he was president, a lot of the hard decisions that he was highly criticized for or highly praised for. And it was really a lot about what decisions had to be made, what the options were, what the consequences would be for all those options, and how he came to his actual decision. And then sometimes what the fallout was for those decisions as well. And for this one, I really felt like I learned a lot about how the government actually works, because as the general public, we see what the news wants us to see, basically. And unless you actually go in and do your research and you know how all this stuff is done, you mostly just get little snippets and things of how things are done. So for this one, I really felt like I learned how things come about. I learned who is prominent in some of these decisions that he made, and I learned why he made them, and it made a lot more sense to me. So I think this one is really important. It actually taught me a lot about the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina and how he was highly, highly criticized for how he reacted to it. And when I read this, that was a big part of the book, and it completely made me go, wow, because it really taught me a lot about how much power the president actually has. He does not have as much power as people would like to think, most definitely. And especially with the whole Katrina thing, that most of that blame needs to go on the governor at the time of Louisiana, because they have more power than anybody in that type of situation as far as natural disasters go. So that was a big eye-opener for me, and I really, really enjoyed it. The second book I'd like to recommend is another memoir, and this is Yes Please, written by Amy Poehler. And this is a big overview of her life in general, a lot from her childhood, how she got into SNL and movies and all that kind of stuff. And it was really funny. I did read the physical book of this, but I bet the audiobook is probably really good as well, because she does narrate it. And there are also guest appearances by people that she's worked with, like Seth Meyers and a few other people as well. So that would probably be a really fun audiobook to listen to, but I really liked it. I love Amy Poehler. I think she's hilarious, and I laughed my way through it. The next recommendation is another memoir, and it is American Sniper, written by Chris Kyle. Chris Kyle has passed away. He was killed a few years ago, and he is the on record for having the most sniper kills, and I think the longest kill as well, which was like over 3 miles or something insane like that. And he was just basically considered one of the best of the best. He was a Navy SEAL, and he had since retired and was working with soldiers dealing with PTSD and helping them deal with that. And he unfortunately ended up being killed by one of those soldiers that he was trying to help. So this book was really, really well written. It had me on the edge of my seat the whole time, because he talks a lot about going to these combat zones and being basically in the thick of it. And it was really, really heart-wrenching. And I sat there reading it, and I was just like holding my breath a lot, because it was very intense, and just reading those scenes and what he and his troops had to go through was just crazy and sad. So but it was very good. I really, really enjoyed it, especially for a book that's nonfiction, which can sometimes tend to be dry, but this one was really, really, really well done. And the movie is really good too. Bradley Cooper plays him in a movie, and it was fantastic. I cried through the whole thing, even though I knew the outcome and all that stuff. But yeah, it was very, very good. My next recommendation is Brain on Fire. This is written by Susanna Cahalan. I think that's how you say her last name. This is another memoir. And this one is very interesting because this is about Susanna's dealing with a psychological issue that she had no clue she even had. And it was something that even stunned the doctors. They couldn't figure out what it was. She was in her 20s. She was a journalist, living her life, everything was fine, and all of a sudden she started passing out randomly and started having some psychotic breaks and didn't understand what was going on. So she was being admitted into hospitals all the time, and they were trying to figure out what in the world was happening, and they couldn't figure it out. So this book follows kind of that and what the discoveries were and all the explanations and stuff. Now this one does have a lot of medical jargon and science in it, but the way that she wrote it made it very easy to understand. So I didn't get lost in the jargon. I didn't find myself going, what in the world is going on? I have no clue what any of this means. So it was written really for the average American who is not doesn't have a science degree or anything. But it was really very good and it was riveting, and I really found myself enjoying it, and it surprised me. I didn't think that I was going to love it as much as I did, but I really, really did love it. And this one is coming out as a movie soon as well. And the last one that I'm going to recommend is a biography, and that is Unbroken, and this is written by Lauren Hillenbrand. This book is about a World War II survivor and his journey through being held captive. He was a prisoner of war, and kind of all of everything that he had to go through, which was absolutely incredible. The soldier's name was Louis Zamperini, and he was actually an Olympic track star, which was very interesting. And he actually met Adolf Hitler because before the war started and before he went to war, he was in the Olympics, and Hitler wanted to shake his hand because he ran so well, and he actually shook Adolf Hitler's hand. That was crazy to me. But he ended up enlisting, and he was, I believe, a pilot. I don't remember if he was a pilot or he was something on, but he was on an airplane. He was in the airplane flying, and I just can't remember if he was a crew member or if he was a pilot. But he ended up getting into a plane crash and having to survive in the ocean with a few people. Not everyone else survived, and that was very scary because he's literally in the middle of the ocean trying to survive. And then he ends up becoming a prisoner of war, and you see him dealing with a very, very psychotic person who is basically trying to break him down. This man does not break down. It was absolutely incredible. And again, I found myself just going, oh my gosh, this is so good. I could not put it down. The way it was written was really fantastic. It read like a fiction story, but it was all true and all real. And this one was also made into a movie by Angelina Jolie. She's the one who directed it, and it was really good. I really, really, really love this book. Okay, so those are the 5 either biography or memoirs that I like to recommend to people. And now I have 3 biographies that I would like to read. One is a biography, the other 2 are memoirs. So the first one is Alexander Hamilton, written by Ron Chernow, and I just recently got this for Christmas, and I'm really excited to read it. And this is the story of Alexander Hamilton and his time as kind of coming to America and rising up into the government all the way up until his death. And I'm really excited to read it. This was actually the inspiration for the musical of Hamilton that is extremely popular right now, and I'm absolutely obsessed with. So I'm really excited to read the original work and see all that. And from what I'm hearing, this is really well written, and it's not boring, and it's very interesting to read, so I'm excited. And another memoir that has been on my shelf for quite a few years. I think it's been at least 5 years that I've had this book on my shelf, so I actually need to read it. But I would really like to read How to Make Love Like a Porn Star by Jenna Jameson. This is her autobiography, and it's, about her childhood and growing up and how she became a part of the adult entertainment industry, and she was really kind of the most popular and like the #1 person in the adult entertainment industry at one time. So I have heard this is really good. So I am just really interested in her story and how this decision came to be and kind of what shaped her into what she ended up becoming in the public eye. So yeah, but I've had a few friends who've read it and they said it was really, really good. And the last memoir that I would like to read is one that I don't own, but I'm going to be trying to find it at the library, but that is Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. And this recently just came out, I think, in the last month or two. And I really love Anna Kendrick. I think she is really funny. I think she's really talented. And I think she's like someone that I could see myself actually hanging out with in real life, and we would actually be friends because we kind of have that similar like sense of humor and just fun. And I just really would like to read more about her from her own voice. Okay guys, so those are my recommendations for a biography or a memoir. And if you've read any of these, let me know what you thought of them and if you're gonna check any of them out. If you have any recommendations for me about biographies or memoirs, please leave them down below so I can check them out as well. I'm weary a little bit about celebrities' memoirs. Like, you know, I had a couple on here, but it depends on the person, most definitely. And but definitely things about real life and like real things that have happened and all that. I'm really interested in that kind of stuff. So if you've read any really good ones, let me know down below so I can check them out. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you again soon. Bye.